The year was now 1985 and I had my Acorn Electron. Despite it being the Beeb's younger cousin, it was still a great machine. Some of my friends had one and others a Beeb or Commodore 64. My best friend had a BBC Micro, who I met through biking on our BMXs. BMXs were all the craze back then and even featured in movies, either directly like BMX Bandits or indirectly and iconically in the classic tearjerker E.T. I think every man and his dog watched E.T. at that time. As you see, back then we didn't have the overload of media we have today. A new movie or TV show tended to be more of a national and unifying phenomena as opposed to the widespread tentacles of media releases today. Talking of movies and TV, computers of course were beginning to pop up in many shows and films. My earliest exposure for sure was in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy TV show, which had a few computer references. The first of course was the guide itself, which in many ways was akin to an early smartphone or tablet. The second was the computer imagery used by the narrator. This was not in fact computer generated, but made by animating reversed outline drawings on acetate, and then using lighting gels to make the colours. In a nutshell, it was hand-drawn and photographed, not produced on any computers at all. Thirdly, of course, we have Deep Thought, the ultimate computer designed to solve the ultimate question of life, the universe and everything. Other notable references include the classic 1983 War Games movie and science fiction shows like Blake 7 with Aurak and Zen. So anyway, my life at this time revolved around BMXing outside and playing computer games inside with friends. Part of playing games of course was getting hold of them. Some of this involved long cycle rides to friends' houses to swap games, or swapsies in the playground, others hacking into loaders to make backups, but far the easiest was to get 2 mono cassette decks and copy the tapes manually. This was surprisingly easy to do. All you needed was a 3.5mm microphone cable and you'd connect it to another tape deck through its ear socket. Of course you had to spend time finding levels that would work and load, and you'd sit there waiting for 5 minutes or so per game. You see, there was nothing high-tech about this. You literally played the tape on one recorder and recorded on the other recorder in real time. And to be fair, it worked most of the time, and on a good day you'd make an entire C90 compilation of all your favourite games. Another shameful trick we used to pull was to buy an original game from say W.H. Smith or Woolworths, make copies and then take a small pin and prick a random part of the tape itself. We would then return the tape to the store, and this would inevitably cause the tape to fail to load when they tested it. This would satisfy the poor shop assistant that indeed it was faulty, and we'd get a refund or another game. Wash, rinse, repeat. As seedy as this sounds though, please remember we did have somewhat of a conscience, and we'd always buy and keep originals of games that were decent. In many ways perhaps we helped keep software companies on their toes by only spending our hard-earned pocket money on games that were up to par. Even back then, we were conscientious consumers. Games that I recall on the Electron and Beeb we had as originals include the incredible Elite and its glorious paraphernalia, the wonderful Revs, and in fact most Acorn Soft, Micropower and Superior software releases. Later budget versions would also appear on the shelves, and I'd often pop to my local newsagent and buy a couple of classic releases to prop up my collection. In the summer holidays my father would also bring home a Beeb, disk drive and Cub monitor. What a classic! And a box of random discs. Part of me, as much as I liked playing the games, also enjoyed the journey of exploration as I loaded up menu after menu and delved into their depths. Games that I loved and could only play on the Beeb, due to the limitations of the Electron, included the aforementioned Revs, but also Mr. E from Adrian Stephen of Micropower, Aviator, Frack from Aardvark Software, and Planetoids, to mention just a few. So I've talked a lot about these two computers and would like to get technical for a moment and describe their hardware and similarities along with their differences. Some games, for example, that were deemed technically impossible on the Electron actually became a reality, and some unfortunately never did, and this was mostly due to hardware differences. So in order to understand this, we need to delve into the hardware of both the ALC and the BBC Micro, and that we will do in part 3. Thank you for watching.